Parsha, we have the story of Avraham Avinu sending his trusted servant Eliezer to go and find a wife for his son. Anybody? Yitzchak. For those who like spoilers, Yitzchak finds Rebecca, not the one from Cheers, right? But Rivka, and they get married and they live happily ever after. Okay. So in a nutshell, that's the story. So what happens is, the Torah tells us in great length, it repeats the conversation that Eliezer has with Avraham Avinu. That was the shir we had on Sunday. We're not going to do that again. Nice try, Shmuel. I have a lot of other Torah. I don't have just one shir, Baruch Hashem. I have a lot of other stuff. As you see, I have 133 videos so far posted. There's a lot more not posted yet. And I'm also very humble too. Just keep that in mind.
That's why you're looking at me when you said that.
Keep that in mind. What, humble?
The unposted.
Oh, okay. So, we got sidetracked. So, yes, Shmuel. So, I know we're not going to repeat that shit. But speaking of repeating, the Torah does repeat. The Torah then repeats. Max, I don't know if you remember this from grade school in Hebrew Academy. Then Eliezer tells Lavan and Besuel the whole conversation that he had with Avraham Avinu. Yep. Who was Lavan and Besuel? Anybody? Chaim?
Trickery.
Very good. Trickery? Yeah, they were tricksters, right. Man. That was the brother and father of Rivka, the prospective brother-in-law. In Yiddish, the shvager, and the father, the shver. Now, so that's what happens. So the pasuk says that when Eliezer comes and he tells them the whole story, they invite him in the house and they sit him down. And they say, okay, please break bread with us. And he invites Eliezer to come and have a meal with them to discuss the upcoming nuptials. So the pasuk says that Eliezer tells them, I'm not able to eat until I speak my piece. I came here to discuss something with you. Let's get this over and done with, and then I'll be glad to join you for the meal, but I don't want to focus on anything else. I want to get my mission done. And then he says, and then they say, okay, no problem. We agree to your terms. What do you have to say? And then he tells them his whole story. But when Eliezer is telling him the story as a prerequisite for him having the meal, he goes ahead and his introduction is, I'm the servant of Avram. Okay, we know that already. When Eliezer came in, he introduced himself. He didn't just show up and they said, okay, whoever you are, come down, let's have lunch with us. I guess he knocked on the door. Oh, come in. Who are you? Oh, I'm Eliezer, Evan Avram. I came here to discuss the shidduch between my master's son and your daughter. Oh, okay, please come in. Fine. So then when he comes in, he doesn't have to reintroduce himself again. You hear the dialogue? They say, come in, break bread with us. He says, no, I can't until I tell you why I came. Fine. But he already introduced himself. So when he goes ahead and he tells his story, let him go straight to the point. Like you always say about the shurim. Don't start telling jokes. Get to the point. So, you hear kasha, it's kashmaka kasha. Why does he reintroduce himself? He already introduced himself. If he didn't introduce himself, he wouldn't be sitting at the table having bread with them. So let him just get straight to the point. That's the question. So it's a very cute answer from the Rebbe of Heschel, the Chanukas Torah. And this is what he says. It's so cute. Rashi brings that the reason why the Torah repeats in great detail this whole dialogue, first with Eliezer and Avram about how to find the shidduch, and then Eliezer repeats to Lavan and Besuel the whole story. It's on and on and on. When important halachas we learn out from a small extra letter. So that, which is important halachas we learn out from a small letter. But this, the Torah spends lots of verses, to discuss in details the story. So the Talmud says yes, because God cares so much about even the stories of the talk of the servant of the Avos. Right? Eliezer wasn't even the Av. Eliezer was the servant of Avram. Hashem cares so much about that, even more from the Torah of the Son. So when he wants to teach us a halacha, he teaches it to us sometimes in a remez, with like an extra letter. But this, the whole story, because it's concerning Abraham, Avraham Avinu, not even him, but the dialogue that his servant has, the Torah cares more about that than even about teaching us halachas straightforward. Some halachas are taught by extra letter. That's something that you have to know. That's what the Gemara says, and that's Rashi brings the Medrash. That's why the Torah is in Ma'arich. It goes in great detail to discuss this dialogue. According to that, now we have an answer to the question. It's a very, 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 as they say in Yiddish, a very geschmack word. It's a very interesting word. The question was, why did Eliezer reintroduce himself? So according to this that I just told you, this concept that the Torah of the servants of the Av is more precious to Hashem than even halachos, according to this, maybe this is what the dialogue was. Eliezer sat down at the table and was about to have the meal with Lavan and Bethuel, and I guess Rivka was there, right? And whoever was at the meal. So Eliezer said, I'm not going to eat because I have to discuss the reason why I came, right? Lavan said, what are you talking about? You want to discuss at the table divrei chol, mundane matters? I thought you're supposed to discuss Torah at a meal. The Talmud tells us Lavan was a lamdan. The Torah, right? Wasn't too honest, but that was a different part of his life. But according to this, Lavan was a Talmudic scholar. And he said, Eliezer, what do you mean? The Talmud tells us that any meal that doesn't have divrei Torah discussed during it, I'm not going to repeat, not such good things are said about such a gathering. So Lavan said, "What? I don't understand. Why is the prerequisite to you eating, discussing the shidduch? What do you mean? It's supposed to discuss Torah at a meal." Now I have a sad question that discussing a mitzvah is just as important as Torah, right? They weren't here to discuss the nix. Discussing a mitzvah could also suffice. Maybe not. Maybe it has to be Torah dafka. Maybe Torah means Torah, and not to discuss the shidduch. Although it's important, it's a mitzvah, but maybe Torah means literally Torah. Okay, that might answer that point that you might be wondering. Okay, so says the Rebbe Heschel, that was the dialogue. Again, it's a B'kishmak Avad. And they said, come and eat with us. He said, I'm not going to eat until we discuss the shidduch. Lavan said, you want to discuss the shidduch? No, you have to discuss Torah at a meal. If you don't discuss Torah at a meal, it's not going to be considered a good meal. Eliezer said, you want me to discuss Torah? No. Discussing the shidduch is more important to Hashem than Torah. Because remember we said before that the Torah is ma'arich, the Torah elaborates in this whole story. It's repeated. There's lots of psukim about this. Why? When halachas are learnt out just from a small letter? And we answered before. Because God considers the dialogue with his avos and the servants of his avos more important than even halachas. So that's what Eliezer told Lavan. You're right. Torah should be discussed at a meal. And that's more important than discussing divrei chol. That doesn't apply to me. I'm an Eved, I'm a servant of Avraham Avinu. And we know from the Medrash in this Parsha, which apparently Eliezer knew. He didn't know the Medrash. We learned that from him. Right? Eliezer said to him, he was a bigger lamdan than Lavan. You're right. It has to be discussed Torah at a meal. But Hashem considers my dialogue more important than even Torah. And that's what he told him. Not that he was introducing himself. Yeah, so that answers the question. Why did he reintroduce himself? I'm Eved Avram. They knew he was Eved Avram. Otherwise, they wouldn't have invited him into the door. They would have said, no, we gave already, whatever you want to say. The answer is, by saying he was Eved Avram Anochi, I'm Eved Avram, he was answering Lavan's question about why do you want to discuss the shidduch, why don't you discuss Torah? By saying I'm Eved Avram Anochi, I'm the servant of Avram, he was hinting to this Chazal, and therefore, since I'm a servant of Avram, so by us discussing the shidduch, that's more precious to Hashem than even Torah, and therefore, I don't have to discuss Torah at the meal, we can discuss the shidduch, and that's more important to Hashem than even Torah.